Lindsay, what have been your experiences of the politics of poverty?
Poverty is being used by the poverty industry, I like to call them, the various advocates, the different groups that wind themselves up near an election. Poverty is always the excuse used for instance, the maltreatment and neglect of children. Yet when you look at which groups most maltreat and neglect their children, they aren't the poorest people in New Zealand. In fact, the New Zealand Income Survey shows that the poorest group in New Zealand are the Asian people. And we don't routinely see Asian children figuring in all of the poor social indicators.
So what effect can welfare have on people's aspirations for themselves and their children?
I do think it destroys people's sense of aspiration. I think it destroys their own view of themselves and their own view of their abilities, because often their parents don't value education. The parents don't talk to them about ambition, about wanting more from life, because they are themselves mired in this sort of benefit despondency and malaise. And so how can they teach their children to want more when they're just demonstrating themselves that sort of hopeless dependency?
You've spoken recently about a book by James Payne. What was the topic of his research?
He analysed the way that welfare affected people in respect of what we give to people and what we expect in return. He talks a lot about expectant giving. That's really what the book is about, expectant giving. And that is that when you help somebody, you expect them to help themselves. And he is convinced that governments aren't equipped to do that, that only small organisations can offer that kind of help and require that kind of response from people. For us to take welfare away from the state, we all need to get more involved. We don't want to go down this track of vilifying people who are on welfare, because it's not their fault necessarily that they're on welfare. And if we are proxy for the government, the state, we vote them in, we are responsible for this system that we've created, and now we have to find a real way of reforming it.
So why not just pay people more?
Upping the level of benefits will make benefits more attractive to people.
Well, what should we be trying to achieve in this area?
The economics of the welfare state worry me less, quite frankly, than the social aspects of it. We shouldn't be trying to reform welfare because we want to save ourselves money. We should be trying to reform welfare because we care about the future of New Zealand kids.